What if I told you that despite extensive archaeological excavations across Egypt and the Sinai Peninsula, researchers have uncovered absolutely no material evidence supporting the Exodus account? After decades of searching, not a single artifact, inscription, or archaeological layer confirms the biblical narrative of 600,000 Hebrew families wandering the desert for 40 years. I'm Dr. Michael Harrison, and this isn't about attacking faith. It's about understanding how powerful stories emerge and why they matter. The archaeological record suggests that the Exodus narrative might be political mythology, created centuries after the supposed events to unify a diverse population under a single national identity. Here's what the evidence actually shows. The Israelites weren't foreign invaders conquering Canaan. They were Canaanites. The archaeological record reveals a gradual cultural transition within existing settlements, not the violent conquest described in Joshua. The pottery, architecture, and material culture show continuity, not replacement. This discovery fundamentally changes how we understand Yahweh's origins. He wasn't the God of escaped slaves who conquered a foreign land. He was a Canaanite deity who gradually absorbed the characteristics and followers of competing gods like El, Baal, and Asherah. The Egyptian sources provide our earliest extra-biblical evidence of Yahweh worship, referencing Yah in the land of the Shasu in inscriptions at Soleb and Amara West. These texts describe Yahweh as a regional deity associated with nomadic peoples, not the universal God of later tradition. Archaeological evidence shows that the transition from Bronze Age to Iron Age in the Levant was gradual and internal, not the result of mass migration or conquest. The material culture demonstrates technological and social continuity, with new elements emerging organically rather than being imposed from outside. The biblical authors knew they were creating mythological accounts. The Hebrew Bible preserves multiple contradictory versions of creation, conflicting genealogies, and different accounts of the same events. This wasn't careless editing. It was brilliant literary strategy. The editors created what I call an editorial miracle. They preserved competing traditions while crafting a unified narrative that could adapt to different circumstances. When you understand the Bible as this kind of sophisticated composition, its contradictions become features, not bugs. This explains why Yahweh appears as both warrior and peaceful father, why the same God demands animal sacrifice and declares it worthless, and why monotheistic passages coexist with clear acknowledgments of other deities. The biblical authors weren't trying to create consistent theology. They were preserving the full spectrum of their religious heritage. The archaeological evidence reveals that ancient Israel was religiously diverse for centuries. Yahweh worship coexisted with goddess traditions, storm god characteristics were absorbed from Baal worship, and household shrines included multiple deities. The biblical editors found a way to incorporate rather than eliminate this diversity. The implications extend far beyond ancient history. Understanding how the Exodus narrative functioned as founding mythology helps us appreciate how powerful stories shape identity, even when they're not historically accurate. The story's power lies not in its factual precision, but in its ability to inspire hope, unity, and moral purpose. This research reveals religion as a fundamentally creative human endeavor, not passive reception of divine revelation, but active construction of meaning systems that help communities navigate existential challenges. The absence of archaeological evidence for the Exodus doesn't diminish its spiritual significance. It reveals how human creativity transforms experience into transcendent narrative. The same process continues today. Religious communities actively adapt ancient insights to new circumstances while maintaining connections to transcendent meaning. Understanding this evolutionary process doesn't diminish faith. It reveals how religious traditions have always been living, adaptive systems that help people find meaning in an uncertain world.